My beloved brothers and sisters, I want you to listen very carefully. Today, too many people are busy watching others instead of working on themselves. They scroll through social media day and night, comparing their lives to what others post. Look at him, he's successful. Look at her, she's traveling. Look at what they've bought. And while they're watching everyone else live, they forget to live their own lives. Let me tell you something powerful. Focus on yourself. Stop announcing your plans to the world. Stop seeking validation before you take the first step. Not everyone needs to know what you're doing. Sometimes silence is protection. Sometimes privacy is power. People go around sharing big dreams with small-minded individuals, and then they wonder why they feel discouraged. Not everyone can handle the size of your dream. Not everyone will understand your purpose, and that's okay, because Allah understands. Too many people delay their growth, their healing, their next step, all because they're waiting for someone else to tell them, you can do it. But that's not how it works. If you keep waiting for people's approval, you'll stay stuck. You'll keep doubting yourself. You'll waste time asking, what do they think? Validation has become a disease in our generation. We've tied our self-worth to likes, followers, and applause. But the truth is, even if nobody claps for you, even if nobody cheers you on, you must keep going. Because your dreams do not need a permission slip. You don't need a green light from people. You just need to trust the path that Allah has placed in your heart. Some of the greatest people in history were mocked. Some were rejected. Some were even hated. But they kept going. Why? Because they weren't driven by the noise of the crowd. They were driven by the clarity of their purpose. They knew that Allah was enough for them, even if the whole world doubted them. So don't let someone's inability to see your vision make you doubt your ability. People will project their fears onto you. They'll say, it's too risky, it's too hard, what if you fail? But those fears belong to them, not to you. Your journey is your own, and if Allah has placed something in your heart, then you walk towards it. Silently, steadily, sincerely. Some of the most powerful decisions you'll make in life will be between you and Allah alone. No crowd, no praise, just trust, just tawakkul, just action. Let me ask you a serious question, one that only you can answer from deep within your heart. How many times have you wanted to move forward in life, but stopped yourself? Not because you couldn't do it, but because you were afraid of how people would react. How many dreams have you buried? How many opportunities have you allowed to slip away quietly? All because you were too concerned about what others might say. You had a beautiful idea. You had something burning in your heart, a plan, a vision, a goal. But then came the doubt. What will they say? What if they don't support me? What if they laugh at me? What if I fail? That mindset, that fear of judgment is one of the greatest killers of potential. It paralyzes the soul. It chains your ambition. And all the while, your precious time, your valuable moments are quietly fading away. Time you could have used to build, time you could have used to grow, time you could have used to rise. But instead, you spent it waiting for permission, waiting for support, waiting for someone to tell you, yes, go ahead, you're doing the right thing. That moment, the moment you stop waiting for people's approval, that's the moment you reclaim your power. Because the truth is, success does not wait for anyone. It doesn't wait for applause. It doesn't require a committee of people to approve your goals. It requires you to take the first step, even if you're walking alone. Allah gave you the mind. He gave you the heart. He gave you the ability. So what are you waiting for? You see, one of the common mistakes we make is we talk too much. We speak more than we act. We share every plan before even taking the first step. I'm going to start this project. I'm planning to open that business. I'm thinking of changing careers. I want to memorize the Quran. I want to wear the hijab. I want to start praying 5 times a day. And what happens? The more we talk, the more opinions we attract. And not every opinion is beneficial. Not every voice is wise. Not every person sees what you see. Some will mock you. Some will discourage you. Some will subtly plant seeds of doubt in your heart. They'll say, you're not ready. It's too risky. Why bother? You'll never make it. And then, without realizing, you start second guessing yourself. You begin to hesitate. You lose the excitement, the passion, and eventually the momentum dies before the journey even begins. This is why silence is a gift. The Prophet ﷺ taught us the value of intention. Actions are judged by intentions, not by announcements, not by public approval, but by what exists between you and Allah alone. Not everything needs to be said. Not every move needs to be shared. Not every plan needs an audience. Some of the most successful people you know today, they started in silence. They worked in silence. They sacrificed in silence. And when Allah opened the doors for them, people wondered, where did this person come from? But what they didn't see were the years of quiet effort, the tears in the middle of the night, the private prayers, the silent patience and the faith that carried them through. So stop seeking recognition before results. Stop announcing the seed before it even grows roots. Let your actions speak. Let your success speak. Let Allah be your witness, not the crowd. And remember this, the world may not see your value, but Allah sees every step, every struggle, every silent sacrifice. And when the time is right, He will elevate you in a way that no human being ever could. And sufficient is Allah as an ally. And sufficient is Allah as a helper. When your focus becomes sharp, your life begins to change. You stop wasting energy defending your dreams. You stop trying to convince people to believe in your vision. You don't get caught up in explaining yourself to those who were never meant to understand. Instead of talking, you're doing. Instead of explaining, you're executing. And that is the difference between those who move forward in life and those who remain stuck. You see, people who succeed don't spend their days announcing what they're about to do. They simply get up, place their trust in Allah and do the work. They let their results speak on their behalf. They don't need to shout from the rooftops, because the fruit of their labor becomes the loudest message. There's a reason why some of the most successful people, spiritually, emotionally, or financially, stay quiet about their plans. Because silence protects. Silence preserves. Silence keeps you focused. Let me tell you something uncomfortable but true. Not everyone around you wants to see you win. Some people will smile in your face while secretly hoping for your downfall. Some will pretend to support you, but the moment they see you rise, they feel threatened. They won't clap when you succeed because your growth reminds them of their own stagnation. And instead of being happy for you, they begin to plant seeds of doubt. Are you sure about this? That sounds risky. Maybe wait a little longer. But what they're really doing is trying to slow you down. And the more you explain yourself, the more power you give them, the more you reveal, the more you expose your dreams to those who don't have the heart to support you. But when you move in silence, subhanallah, you strip that power away. They can't interfere with what they don't know. They can't sabotage what they can't see. By the time they discover what you've been working on, it's already done. And that's the best way to move. Move with humility, move with patience, move with quiet consistency. And let the results speak louder than your words. See, many people confuse movement with progress. They're busy talking, posting, discussing, but no real steps are being taken. Just because someone's talking about change doesn't mean they're changing. Just because someone's sharing their goals doesn't mean they're getting closer to them. Real progress isn't loud, it's disciplined, it's private. It happens behind closed doors, in the early mornings, the late nights, the silent sacrifices. And there's a reason for that. Because your unborn ideas, your unfinished plans, your hidden ambitions, they are fragile in the beginning. They're delicate, like a seed that's just been planted. It needs quiet, it needs shade, it needs time to grow before facing the outside world. If you expose your dream too early, it becomes vulnerable. It becomes easy for negativity to creep in. One harsh word, one sarcastic comment, one moment of doubt, and the whole vision begins to shake. That's why you must nurture it in silence. Give it strength before you introduce it. Let it grow deep roots before it sees the sun. And while the world is sleeping on you, you're quietly building, you're making dua, you're taking action, you're trusting Allah step by step and leaving the rest to Him. Remember, you are not behind, you are not too late. Just stay focused, stay silent, and stay connected to Allah, and He will change everything. I want you to think about something very carefully. There is a powerful advantage, both spiritual and psychological, in moving quietly, in working in silence. You see, when people don't know what you're working on, they cannot block your progress. They can't interfere with what they don't even know exists. They can't attack what's hidden. They can't sabotage what's protected by your silence. You create what we call the element of surprise, not out of pride, not to catch people off guard in a negative way, but to preserve the sincerity and energy of your efforts. By the time the world sees what you've done, by the time they realize what you've built, what you've achieved, how much you've grown, it's too late for them to stop it. The foundation is already set. The structure is already rising. And listen carefully. Sometimes just talking about your goals gives you a false sense of progress. You talk and you feel like you're doing something. You explain, you post, you share, and it feels like action, but it's not. Talking about it and working on it are two completely different things. One moves you forward, the other just gives you the illusion of motion. You can waste months, even years, discussing ideas that never materialize. All because you spent your energy talking instead of doing, and before you realize it, you're standing still, watching others pass you by. Not because they are better, but because they stayed quiet and kept working. So silence, in truth, is not about secrecy, it's about focus. It's about discipline. It's about protecting your dreams from premature exposure and trusting that Allah sees your efforts even when the world does not. The less you talk, the more energy you conserve. And that energy can be redirected toward building, planning, growing, learning, and praying. And when the time is right, when Allah wills it, your success will speak louder than any announcement. You won't need to prove anything. You won't need to justify yourself. You won't even need to explain, because the results, with Allah's help, will speak for themselves. But here's where many people go wrong. They lose focus by looking at everyone else. We live in a time where people scroll endlessly through social media, comparing themselves to what others have. Someone just bought a house and suddenly you feel like you're failing. Someone just opened a business and now you think you're behind. Someone just got married, had a child, traveled to 5 countries, and you're sitting there feeling inadequate. But the problem isn't your progress. The problem is your focus. You're looking in the wrong direction. You're comparing journeys when every single person has a different path, a different test, a different timing from Allah. Some people will get there faster. Some will take the long road. Some will have easy beginnings and hard endings. Others will struggle early and shine later. But none of that matters because your journey is yours. Your path is yours. Your blessings are yours. And what's written for you will never miss you so long as you place your trust in Allah. Comparison is dangerous. It makes you question yourself. It makes you ungrateful. It makes you blind to your own blessings. You could be making real, steady progress. But one look at someone else's highlight reel and suddenly you feel like you've done nothing. You forget how far you've come. You forget the obstacles Allah already removed from your path. You forget the du'as He already answered because you're too busy watching the next person's life. And let's be real. Most of what people show online is not even real. It's filtered, it's curated, it's a show. They show the wins, not the pain. They show the achievements, not the sacrifices. And here you are comparing your actual life to someone's edited highlight reel. Wallahi, that's not fair to your soul. So shift your focus. When you look at your own path, you start to value your own efforts. You begin to walk with confidence, not comparison. You stop chasing what others have and you start chasing what Allah wrote for you. And here's something else to remember. Just because someone else is succeeding in one area doesn't mean that's your area. Just because they're moving in one direction doesn't mean it's the direction you need to follow. One of the biggest mistakes people make is constantly switching lanes. They see one person win in tech, so they try that. Then they see another doing business, so they switch again. Then it's fashion. Then it's real estate. Then it's content creation. Then it's crypto. They keep jumping trend to trend, goal to goal, without ever mastering anything. But when you keep changing lanes, you never build momentum. You never plant long enough to harvest. You're always starting over, but never finishing. True success comes when you stay rooted in your purpose. When you put your head down, you seek Allah's guidance, and you keep showing up, even when it's hard. Even when no one sees. Even when it looks like nothing is happening. Because one day, in the exact moment Allah has written for you, everything will change. So don't speak too soon. Don't compare and don't quit. One of the greatest secrets of success in this world and the next is consistency. Not talent, not connections, not how loud you are. Consistency. Day in, day out, showing up. Even when it's boring, even when it's hard. Even when no one claps for you, even when it looks like other people are ahead, you stay committed. You stay planted. You trust that every seed you've sown, every dua you've made, every tear you've shed in frustration or in sujood is not going unnoticed by Allah. Because success doesn't come overnight. Growth doesn't happen in a week. But if you keep showing up, if you keep watering your dreams with effort and prayer, something will grow. Something must grow. But here's what happens to most people. And maybe this is where you've been tested too. They get impatient. They look at other people's gardens. They see flowers blooming in someone else's life, marriage, business, money, recognition, and they start to doubt their own soil. They wonder, did I plant the wrong seed? Did I make a mistake? Should I just quit? But the truth is, no two gardens grow the same. Some seeds bloom in days, some take years, but the beauty of the flower has nothing to do with how fast it appeared. So I remind you, if you are still waiting for your breakthrough, don't lose hope. Just because you don't see results yet doesn't mean you're failing. The roots are forming beneath the surface. The soil is preparing itself for the harvest. And when Allah commands it, kun fayakun, be and it is, your season will arrive. So don't stop. Don't rush the process. Don't envy another soul's journey. Because when you truly focus on your own path, something beautiful happens. You start to enjoy the process. You start to find meaning in the small wins, the quiet lessons, the inner growth that no one else sees. And you realize success isn't just about the final result. It's about the person you become along the way, the patience you build, the discipline you develop, the strength you discover, the relationship with Allah you strengthen. And if you stay in your lane, if you stay grounded in your purpose, you will arrive exactly when you're meant to, exactly where you're meant to be. Not a moment early, not a moment late. But now listen carefully. Not everyone will understand your journey. Not everyone will clap for your growth. Not everyone will support you, and that's okay. People will doubt you. They will question your choices. They will make comments, throw shade, act like they know what's best for you. And if you're not careful, if you start listening to the wrong voices, you'll begin to doubt yourself. You'll second guess your vision. You'll pause your steps. And before you know it, you're frozen by fear. Doubt is only dangerous when you allow it to live inside you. If someone says you can't do it, that doesn't make it true. If someone laughs at your dream, that doesn't mean you're dreaming too big. If they can't see what you see, it doesn't make your vision invalid. Most people who doubt you aren't doing it because they've studied your potential. They doubt you because they're projecting their own fears, their own limitations, their own failures onto you. They don't believe it's possible, not because it isn't, but because they didn't succeed. And instead of asking how you're doing it, they'd rather discourage you from trying at all. Don't let their fear become your fear. Don't let their small vision shrink yours. What failed them doesn't mean it will fail you. Maybe they weren't willing to sacrifice what you're willing to sacrifice. Maybe they gave up too soon and you're still holding on. Maybe they couldn't see the path, but you kept walking in the dark, trusting that Allah is guiding you, even when the road is hidden. Some people doubt you not because they think you'll fail, but because deep down they fear you'll succeed. They've gotten used to seeing you small. They're comfortable with your struggles, but your growth, that threatens them. Because if you succeed, it reminds them that they could have done more. If you level up, it forces them to reflect on why they haven't. So instead of using your journey as motivation, they try to drag you down. They make little remarks, question your step, and act concerned, but really, they're trying to plant doubt. Don't give them that power. Don't try to explain yourself. Don't waste energy debating with people who never built anything themselves. Let them doubt. Let them talk. Let them guess. While they're watching you work, while they're gossiping you grind, while they're waiting for you to fail, you prepare for your success. One of the scholars said, seek help for the fulfillment of your needs by keeping them secret, for everyone who is blessed is envied. So stay silent, stay consistent, and stay close to Allah. Because the same Lord who gave victory to Yusuf alayhi salam after years of trial, the same Lord who split the sea for Musa alayhi salam, is the same Lord who is watching you right now. He sees your efforts. He hears your du'as. He knows your pain. And if you stay patient, if you keep going, your time will come. And when it does, you won't need to prove anything, because success speaks for itself. Doubt is part of the journey. You will be doubted. You will be questioned. People will look at you, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, and say, are you sure? Is that even possible? Who do you think you are? And it'll sting. It might even shake you for a moment. If no one is doubting you, then maybe your dream is too small. If everyone thinks what you're doing is normal and safe, maybe you're not aiming high enough, because nobody doubts the average. People only question what they can't comprehend. Look at every great success story, the inventors, the thinkers, the change makers. Every single one of them at some point had a crowd of people saying, it won't work, you'll fail, just stay where you are. Even the prophets of Allah, the most beloved to him, faced doubters. Nuh alayhi salam preached for 950 years, and how many believed? Just a few. Ibrahim alayhi salam was thrown into a fire for standing firm on truth. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was called a liar, even though he was the most honest of them all. So who are we to expect that everyone will support us on our journey? Success is not about being accepted by the masses. It's about being accepted by your Lord. The ones who reach greatness aren't the ones who never faced doubt. They're the ones who didn't allow that doubt to define them. They didn't stop. They didn't retreat. They didn't crumble. They used it as fuel. They said, you think I can't? Watch me. But here's where the mindset shifts, my dear brothers and sisters. Don't chase success just to prove people wrong, because then your entire life becomes a reaction. A mission to seek validation from the same people who never clapped for you to begin with. When you're always trying to prove others wrong, you're still giving them power. You're still making your journey about them. You're still moving according to their opinions, not your purpose. And that's dangerous. Because here's the hard truth. Even when you succeed, even when you climb the ladder, get the degree, launch the business, build the life you dreamed of, some of those same people still won't clap. They'll say you got lucky. They'll say you had help. They'll move the goalpost again and again just to make sure they never admit they were wrong. So ask yourself, is that the fuel you want to run on? A lifetime of proving yourself to people who will never give you credit, who will never be satisfied? That's a path of frustration, of emptiness. Because even when you win, you feel nothing. Because the ones you wanted to impress still aren't impressed. Stop trying to prove people wrong. Start proving yourself right. Make your success about you, about fulfilling the potential Allah placed inside you, about honoring the gifts you've been blessed with, about being better than who you were yesterday, not better than someone else. You don't need their permission. You don't need their praise. You don't even need their understanding. The only one who truly knows what you've sacrificed, the only one who's seen your tears in tahajjud, who's heard your whispered dua when no one else was around, is Allah. And He is enough. He is ash-shakur, the most appreciative. When no one sees your efforts, He does. When everyone doubts you, He knows your capabilities. When they say impossible, He says be, and it is. So move quietly, move intentionally, move for Allah, not for applause. Because when you stop chasing people's approval and start living with purpose, something incredible happens. You stop caring who doubts you. You stop flinching when someone criticizes. You stop needing validation and you start building. You start healing. You start becoming the version of you that Allah created you to be. And the day will come, and it will come, when those same doubters will see what you've built and realize they were wrong. But by then, you won't even need their recognition, because you'll already be fulfilled. You'll already know, I proved it, not to them, but to myself. You see, something powerful happens when you stop moving out of frustration, when you stop acting out of revenge, when your grind is no longer about proving someone wrong, but instead about proving yourself right. That's when everything changes. You're not chasing noise anymore. You're not driven by anger. You're not looking back at the ones who doubted you. You're focused on the one who believed in you before you even knew your own strength, Allah Azza wa Jal. You begin to move from a place of self-worth. You work, you strive, you hustle because you believe in what Allah has placed inside you. You're not trying to impress the crowd. You're trying to fulfill your purpose. You're not doing it to hear applause. When you shift your focus to proving yourself right, everything inside you starts to realign. Your definition of success changes. It's no longer about beating someone else to the finish line. It's not about who saw your results. It's about knowing deep inside your heart, I gave it everything. It's about looking in the mirror and being proud of who you've become, not because others recognize it, but because you do. You know the effort, you know the late nights, you know the prayers you whispered, you know the battles you fought when nobody else was watching. You start to realize that it's not about the claps, it's not about the titles, it's about the transformation. Who you became in the process is more valuable than what you achieved. Some people spend their entire lives chasing success just to prove a point. They chase the dream because someone once told them they couldn't. They let the sting of old words and past criticism become their engine. But what happens when they finally reach the top and it still feels empty? What happens when they get there and realize, I wasn't doing this for me. I was doing this for people who didn't even care. That's why intentions matter. When you do something sincerely for your growth, for your healing, for your purpose, for Allah, it has barakah. Even the smallest effort becomes multiplied. Even the slowest progress becomes valuable. And even when nobody sees you, Allah sees everything. You stop needing validation from the outside. You stop waiting for recognition. You stop measuring yourself by how others see you. You begin to set goals that align with your soul, not just what looks impressive online. You stop rushing to the finish line just to take a picture. You start walking your journey with contentment, with clarity, and with peace. But all of this growth, this peace, this clarity, it doesn't come from motivation. It doesn't come from hype videos or temporary inspiration. No, it comes from one word that most people overlook: discipline. Yes, motivation is emotional. It comes, it goes. One day you're ready to conquer the world. The next day you don't even feel like getting out of bed. But discipline is rooted in purpose. Discipline is showing up when you don't feel like it. Discipline is praying Fajr when it's cold outside. Discipline is being kind even when you're stressed. Discipline is working toward your goals when nobody claps, when nobody posts, when nobody sees, but Allah sees. That's the secret to success. Not talent, not luck, not having the perfect time, just consistency, just doing what needs to be done, even when it's boring, even when it's lonely, even when it's exhausting. That's what separates those who win from those who wish. Most people wait for the right mood. I'll start when I feel better. I'll begin when the time is perfect. But successful people understand something deeper. Feelings are not reliable, but habits are. Discipline means waking up early when your bed is comfortable. It means showing up to work, to prayer, to your responsibilities, even when no one says thank you. It means holding yourself to a higher standard because you know Allah is watching, even when the world isn't. Discipline is not punishment, it's freedom. Freedom from laziness. Freedom from regret, freedom from wasted potential. When you live with discipline, you take control of your life. You stop being a slave to moods, emotions, and distractions. You take the steering wheel back and you begin driving your soul towards success. Discipline creates peace. Peace of mind that says, I did what I needed to do. Confidence that says, I'm on the right path. Self-respect that says, I kept the promise I made to myself. And you don't build that overnight. You build it through small actions repeated daily. Start with one step. Just one. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Read Quran daily, even if it's one verse. Exercise 3 times a week. Make dua before bed. The more you do it, the more momentum you build. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And once it becomes part of you, you no longer wait for motivation. You become unstoppable. You don't just chase your goals. You walk toward them with certainty. Because now you're no longer running to prove others wrong. You're walking forward to prove yourself right. And the beauty, you're doing it all, not for the world, but for your akhirah, for your soul, and for the pleasure of Allah.